When you're learning English, there's a frustrating gap between knowing the words for feeling sad and knowing how to express a total, overwhelming collapse of your emotional state. Ordinary vocabulary simply doesn't carry the weight. We rely on a specific linguistic manual to bridge this gap and express profound disappointment. This diagram illustrates how the phrase is constructed. We start with everyday sadness, then add a deep personal investment. The result is heartbreak. This strategic linguistic alarm externalizes abstract pain into a visceral physical image, forcing the listener to empathize. Mastering this idiom forces a listener to validate an internal emotional state that would otherwise remain invisible to them. This schematic contrasts physical definitions with figurative reality. On the left, we have the muscular organ and the violent shock required to shatter a solid object. On the right, the heart becomes the vessel for vulnerability, and break describes an acute, debilitating emotional injury. English takes the extreme severity of physical trauma, shattering bone or stone, and applies it directly to human feelings. It forces the listener to treat an emotional wound with the same urgency as a physical one. Because the imagery is severe, there are strict rules for when you can use it. You cannot deploy this phrase with just anyone in society. On this relationship map, if a stranger insults you, "It breaks my heart" is ineffective. Your stability cannot be dismantled by someone you don't know. The phrase is strictly reserved for deep personal bonds. They must already hold a place in your heart to break it. When a mentor says, "It breaks my heart to see you throw away a lifetime of musical passion over one rejection," a friend balances this intense language. His heart isn't necessarily closed to music forever. He might just need time. The phrase carries weight only when embedded within a pre-existing, highly invested relationship. Once you are inside that activation zone, you have to calibrate your grammar to match the exact duration and intensity of the pain. This matrix breaks down the options. "It breaks my heart" is for immediate shock, a sudden reaction. A broken heart diagnoses chronic, permanent pain, like carrying someone's absence. Finally, an aching heart describes a persistent, dull throbbing of sorrow, rather than a catastrophic fracture. The speaker uses these grammatical distinctions to categorize their pain, ensuring the phrasing matches the specific duration and intensity of their experience. There is a modern temptation to use our most extreme emotional vocabulary for the smallest possible inconveniences. This leads to emotional inflation. Saying "it breaks my heart" over a closed coffee shop strips the idiom's power. It must be guarded for the red zone of high vulnerability, genuine relational crises or life-altering losses, a signal reserved for true vulnerability. To review the three pillars: first, externalize the invisible, translating internal sorrow into physical imagery. Second, measure the investment, reserve it for the person in your heart. Third, calibrate the grammar, matching breaks, broken, or aching to the exact duration and intensity. English fluency involves recognizing the specific weight of these words. Reserving the phrase for genuine crisis preserves its impact for the moments that truly matter.